spring, a glorious season full of growth and destruction. Hey folks, this is Casey and I'm one Mellow Marigold, and this week I'm going to show you what I'm doing to prepare for spring and summer on the farm. There is nothing like the promise of spring, and you get starting to think about like that fresh basil and the garlic and the tomatoes and all the good yummy stuff that's going to come from your garden. Just 2 years ago, I was brand new on this property, desperately trying to scrub up my stove enough to make it work. 2 years later, some things haven't changed, but a whole lot has too. I am eager to make my farm garden this year be the best it can absolutely be, even with me at the home. So let's just hang out and I'll show you what I got going on. And honestly, what I got going on is pruning, and more pruning. I start with my apple and cherry trees first because they're kind of the most important to me, but also because they blossom first in the year. This is my second year trying to rejuvenate the apple trees, and honestly, I feel like they're finally down to a manageable size. I focused on topping the trees first since last year I dealt with a whole lot of bottom and side growth. Now that the trees are down to more manageable heights, I'm really ready for apples if we get them. It's really hard to be patient. I know in my brain, I'm preparing my brain for the fact that we still may not have like a healthy production of apples until next year, but I'm ready if they come this year. Woo! The last thing the apple trees need is a really good copper fungicide spray to help destroy the cedar rust disease that they were absolutely covered in when I first moved here. I need a good 2 to 3 days in a row though without rain, and that's definitely not happening this week. We got time though. As long as you get your copper fungicide sprayed before the leaves and the flower buds start to open, you're going to be okay. You just don't want to ruin a meal for the bees. Cleaned up my blade again, and then I headed over to work on the cherry trees. These reindeer cherry trees were just such a lovely surprise for me my first summer here. Obviously, like everything else, they were super overgrown. I had never seen a cherry tree like that in person, and it was just full and gorgeous, and I loved it. I did give the tree its first prune last year, and sadly, while it did spur on a whole lot of vegetative and fruit growth, the trees did come down with a fungal disease, which caused things to grow, but the fruit itself never got a chance to ripen. It shriveled up and got kind of crystallized and fell to the ground. I have no idea if I introduced something by doing the pruning or if something else happened, but I am going to give the trees a copper fungicide spray, same as the apple trees, to hopefully correct that for the future. And just like the apple trees, I focused on topping mostly. I did a lot of side and bottom growth for the cherry trees last year, so this year was about removing some height, both to make the fruit more reachable, but also to prevent some of the shade that was coming down over my onion patch. Since I was on a roll, next I moved over to the menace tree. Since the previous owner wasn't exactly much on property maintenance, unfortunately, a whole lot of black walnut saplings have popped up all over the farm. This particular sapling had the audacity to pop up right where I needed to be able to get in and out of a fence, and also just enough to shade my blueberry plants last year. The audacity! Since this trunk was just a little bit thicker than I thought my chainsaw could handle, I decided to just take the branches down. So I did. And then I hauled them away like the trash that they are. My pruning pile is really starting to take shape for when Alan comes back with his wood chipper. Also, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I hear so many women call their electric chainsaws like not a real chainsaw. Like it's not a real ass blade that can take down whole trees. I don't care if it's gas or electric. It's a real chainsaw. You're using it to do real chainsaw things. And as Blanche Devereaux says, be bold, be brazen, be brutal. Now, even if I can't get the trunk down right away, at least the branches are gone, so it's not going to shade out my blueberry plants. Which, of course, brings me to my blueberries. These bushes have really come back to life since I've taken over. And while I know that pruning and mulching and feeding are all really important components, have you tried talking to your plants? Do you talk to your garden? If not, I really think you should. Do you tell your plants how strong and perfect and beautiful they are? Do you congratulate them for doing so much hard work? Do you tell them that they're strong and perfect exactly the way they are? If not, get to it. Every single living thing on this planet likes to hear positive things. It's important. Talk to your garden. It will definitely reward you for it. I'm taking a little pruning break on this beautiful day to just see how the garlic is doing. This is the area where we extended the bed last fall, and I just started pulling away a little bit of the mulch. And hang on, look at that. That's a garlic. That's a garlic. I feel like I saw some over here. Garlic. Look at over here. Garlic. It's a very exciting sign. Woo! We're going to get lots of garlic this year. I just know it. And then I wanted to pop over here to the carrot bin because I know there's still some carrots in here. And I should have bought a tripod. I didn't. I don't know. Sometimes I plan shit. Sometimes I just fly by the seat of my pants. But I know there's definitely some skinny carrots in here. So let's just dig a few out and see what we got left. Oh! Well, somebody got a snack. That, yeah. There has been a lot of vole or chipmunk activity around the bin, so it's possible they climbed right up through the bottom to eat some, but let's see if we can't pull a few more out. Ooh! Lovely. That's an overwintered carrot, folks. Gorgeous. I want to make egg roll in a bowl today, so I think we'll take some of these in for that. Look at Hilda over here. She knew exactly what comes out of this bin. She's like, give me a carrot, please. Oh, that's a perfect little carrot for Hilda. Come here, Bubba. Come here, Boomba. There you go, sweet angel. Enjoy, honey. Look at that. Somebody under there's getting some snackins. Oh, there's just a little cluster little bitty babies that got all entwined. Now, if you're not inclined to eat these little bitty ones, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, they're great for throwing in your chicken stock too, but we're gonna eat them. So there we go, just a few handfuls from this side of the bin. That side of the bin, I just double checked again, but we had eaten through most of those like before the end of the year even. So there weren't any over there. I didn't expect any over there. What was over here, a good portion were eaten up by critters from underneath, which I guess tells us a little something. But we did get a couple of good handfuls, so we'll cook them up tonight. And now back to the destruction. Let's talk about roses. I knew I had one garden rose bush right alongside my driveway. And even though I admittedly know zero about handling rose bushes, I decided to just give it a good, heave-ho, just a good old prune kind of way back down. And that rose bush really came back to life and produced beautiful blooms, which made me decide to ask my followers what I really should do to take care of the roses instead. And they all told me they like a good cutting back. They like a good chop down. So that's what I did to this particular rose bush, even though I forgot to hit the record button on the camera. You've seen me do that before. Anyway, here's the after. I mean, the before was just kind of scraggly anyway. Don't worry about it. I'm told that this rose might be called a Dr. Huey rose. I don't know. You probably know more than me. So feel free to let me know in the comments below if this looks like a Dr. Huey rose. Anyway, I chopped it way back. I also discovered a lovely rose bush, and in fact, like kind of a line of roses alongside the road just in front of my apple trees. I didn't even see these my first year here because this area was so overcrowded with overgrown apple trees, sumac, mulberry, goldenrod, you name it. So last year, this area got a lot more light because there was a whole lot less of the apple trees shading everything out. In addition, the gas company had asked if they could come by and do some mowing work so they could install a sign where the main gas line was. I said, sure, you bet. And down came a couple of sumacs and a couple of mulberry bushes, which really allowed the roses to bloom back up again. And I think the roses are really going to come back this year and look just amazing alongside the road. Now, again, I don't know shit about roses, but my little leaf identifier app tells me this might be a damask rose. Again, if you know better, let me know. We are finally getting to the end of the pruning, at least for this particular video. Let's move over to the lilacs. The lilacs are the first to open here, so I know that I have to get those done pretty quickly. In fact, their buds are already starting to open. If you watch my 30, 60, 90 lilac pruning video from last year, you'll know just how overgrown these really were. After that big hard prune, they responded with tons of growth, and here's where we're at this spring. Even though new growth is a great thing, we don't need all the new growth, and we don't need the new growth that is centered right in the middle, right? Because we need a whole lot of airflow. So I went through and I took a lot of the new growth that was in the middle. I also kind of thinned out the major branches. I am so excited to see how these lilac bushes respond. I think we're really going to get a lot of blooms this year. And if we do, I already have an idea for cute little lilac sachets that I can put in my Etsy shop. And with that, let's get back to the plants. Everybody's doing fantastic. Even the peppers have rebounded from the mice debacle. I got a few more winter jugs filled and sown. The cabbage, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts are all germinating really nicely. I also got my petunia seeds planted that I got from Seed Cult, and I am super excited to share that they have all germinated. It took me a while to learn what petunias really needed to germinate and grow, and I'm going to pin the video that I learned the best from. I'm really pumped to see how these black petunias turn out. All my petunias see every single day is me doing this. You okay? You doing good? You doing okay? They're kind of fussy. They're kind of high maintenance. They like things a little bit warm, but a little bit cool. They like things a little bit moist, but a little bit dry. They don't like too much of anything. I'm just doing my best. The onions are growing strong and fantastic. They got another trim this week. I'm super excited about those. My backup sets came in the mail from Territorial Seed Company, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully we'll have a lot of onions this year. In addition, in the winter jugs, I sowed 2 winter jugs full of sweet peas. I think I'm going to put them in a different place this year than I did last year. So I'm really happy to be germinating them in a jug this year so that I can eventually transplant them to where I think they're going to grow best. Last year was kind of a rough year for peas. I got some, but I didn't really get as much as I wanted. And then I filled 1 winter jug with the ends of some green onions that I had bought at the store. Because, you know, you can do that, right? You can just take the little rooty little ends and just boop, pop them right back in the dirt. And they're just going to grow you big green onions again. And then 1 jug has petunia seeds that I bought last year, which turned out to be the wrong kind of seeds that I didn't order, but I'm going to just plant them in the jug just to see how they go. They're just going to be experimental. If they grow, they grow. If they don't, they don't. I've also got tomatillos planted. All of my tomatoes have germinated. Ooh, I am a Twitter of excitement. Once the tomatoes and the peppers get a little bit more mature and they're ready to up pot, then I'm going to up pot them all. We're going to hang up the big grow light, and then I'm going to start a new round of seeds for flowers. And that's what I've been busy doing on the farm, in between battling mice, of course. I absolutely love to see the progress, and I'm really glad I'm getting a good chance to get out and really get prepared ahead of time so that the garden can be just even more beautiful this summer. Grapes, raspberry, and black raspberry pruning will begin next. I also have sort of some junk bushes alongside the road on the other side of my house that need to come down too. Some more chainsaw action. Then we'll move into supplementing the soil. Then we'll move into pulling weeds. We'll get down to mulching beds, all to be ready for planting all of our seedlings out towards the end of May. I absolutely love this time of year. Whether you choose to grow along with me or not, like Mercury Stardust says a lot, you are worth the time it takes to learn something new. You are worth learning how to grow things. And I hope that if you're new to growing, you realize that your garden does not have to look like the huge, big, fancy, overproducing gardens that you see all over YouTube and Instagram. Your garden is your own garden. Your goals are your own goals. And sometimes the goal can just be pushing a seed in the dirt. Boop. You don't have to listen to anybody. You certainly don't have to listen to me. But if you do, I'm here for good moral support. Just take a seed, any seed, pop it in the dirt, boop, and just see what happens. That's gardening too. Being around dirt and nature is just as good for us as that freshly grown cucumber. So just do your best and don't worry about it. Believe in yourself, be kind to yourself, and just do you. As always, I love hanging out with you. I love the support. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm going to see you real soon, okay, on the next one. Bye.